Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. It's Angela, and welcome back to a tarot tag. So I found a tarot tag. It's going around. It's hashtag Tarot Tropes. It's a VR2 Tarot Magpie. There are, I think, 10 prompts. Yeah. And I think I've done something similar to this on Candy Soul and Soil's channel a couple years ago. But I thought it'd be fun to do this again, or, you know, for the first time. I think some of the prompts are a little bit different. But it's based on romance tropes. And so, yeah, let's begin. Okay, so number 1 is enemies to lovers. A deck style or system you've insisted just wasn't for you until you realized it was. One of my all-time favorite top 5 decks ever is a deck that I refused to buy. Refused, even after it was on a Kickstarter. After it was on a pre-order, I kept refusing to buy it, and it was like, no, you need to buy me. And then the second I bought it, and I had it in hand, and I did a walkthrough, I fell madly in love with it. And it has now become one of my top 5 favorite decks ever. And it is the Journey of the Sacred Bee. And we have had quite the journey. This is Kelly Burton deck. This was the first in her 3 series of bee decks. Then came the Wisdom of the Sacred Bee, and then the Keeper of the Sacred Bee. All have beautiful gilding. This one is teal with teal bees on the backs. This one is a more Thoth-based deck. I don't read Thoth, but I consider this deck my Hierophant deck because I consider the Hierophant somebody that's like an ultimate teacher. And that's how I see this deck. Every time I'm called to use this deck, I learn something new either about myself, about those around me, about the world at large. Just everything and anything is a possibility with this deck. And I resisted it for a long time. Yeah, this is one of the cards with the 5 of Discs or the 5 of Pentacles. Worry is the key word. It also has the astrological planet and zodiac sign that goes with the cards. This is the first card in this deck that I was just blown away, and it changed my perspective on the 5 of Discs. That, you know, normally you see a couple being left out in the cold. It's snowing, it's cold. And here, the door is open, and the bee can just fly through if it wants. And I'm like, the door is always open. It's our collective mindset that keeps it closed. And I was just like blown away by that. Just knowing that the door is always open, just, it blew me away, and it changed how I saw that card. But I've changed so many things about how I see things with this deck. This deck has changed my perspective on so many things. And that's why it is my forever Hierophant deck. And like I said, I saw this deck on Kickstarter. It was like, buy me. I'm like, no. I have no business buying a bee deck. I have no interest in a bee deck. It's my favorite card in there. The Temperance card. Freaking love it. And then I was on pre-order and it said, buy me again. And I'm like, no, I don't have any business buying you. And then I bought it after all was said and done. And it was just out there in the world. And I'm like, why did I wait so long? It was instant love. And it is my number 5 deck now. In the top 5, it's my number 5. And I love it. 2 pieces. So that was deck 1. Oh my God, we have so many more to go. Deck 2. Friends to Lovers. A deck you used, liked well enough, and then once one reading depending... Okay, a deck you used, liked well enough, and then one reading deepened or changed your relationship with it. And that's going to go with the deck I learned on, which is the Tarot Illuminati by Eric C. Dunn. This is a Low Scare Barrel deck. It comes in this 2-part box. I've seen a couple people with a tuck box version, and I've never seen that in my life. Every tuck box version I've seen is a knockoff. So I'm not sure where they got that or how they got it. I would like to get another version of this without the large box and the book set. So if you know, let me know in the comments, because I've even purchased a tuck box version of this deck and it was a knockoff. So this is the bags. This is the deck I learned on. I had a deck before this. This was the second deck I ever bought. The other deck didn't resonate with me at all. I love how she looks like a dragonfly with the body here, the water flowing, and then the wings. Oh, beautiful. Anyway, I saw a card in this, had to have it, got it. I did edge it in this paint gold. It's horrible. I've got it all over the cards. It was like the first attempt to change or convert mod a deck. It did not come out well, but I love this. This world card is why I bought this deck. I'm like, that's stunning. And then, I was having a very hard time learning to read tarot. And I was like, maybe I'm just not a tarot person. Maybe I just do oracle. And one day, something said pull some cards. I pulled some cards. I actually pulled the Three of Swords, which I'm looking for right now. I love that Hermit. Pulled the Three of Swords out of it. And suddenly, I mean, I know this is a very RWS deck, but suddenly there was I was watching the sky, and it almost is as if it started moving. The storm coming in and the waves bashing against the shoreline. I could hear it. I could see it. I could feel, I could smell the sea. And I heard a voice say, the storm shall pass, your rainbow is coming. And I wrote a whole blog on it. It was a whole thing. And it was the most beautiful moment. It was literally like a spirit, someone was speaking to me about, don't be down and out and all this other stuff. And actually the worst card to me in this deck is right behind it. And I just found the beauty in the Three of Swords. And that was the first time it clicked to me what the card meant versus what I was seeing in the card. And that's when someone told me, an angel guide, somebody was like, throw the book down, because I was trying so hard to learn and be abiding by the book. And that's the moment someone was like, throw the book to the side. What do you feel? What do you see? What do you hear in this card? It wasn't your typical Three of Swords. It was something else. And it was exactly what I needed to hear in that moment. And that is why this is the second choice on here, because that whole thing brought me learning tarot together in that moment. And that's why, that's that choice. So number 3, Forced Proximity. A deck you used for a month, took on holiday, made yourself work with it, then changed your relationship with it. That changed your relationship with it. And that is my Tarot for the Great Outdoors. I got it last year for a gift. It is by Skipstone Publishing. You can get this on Amazon. I think it's like $20. Other than the cardstock sucking, because it's super thin. I love and adore this deck. I did edge it in purple. It does not come edged. It's super thin. But I love this deck. Love it to pieces. Yeah, it's very bendable though. I love the imagery in it. This deck I got last year for my birthday from a friend. September 1st, it was released. She got it on that day. September 2nd is my birthday. I immediately went camping that weekend. Took this deck because it's a travel, to me it's a travel deck. And I'm now taking it a couple different places with me traveling. So this is my ultimate travel deck when I go places. Especially when I'm doing anything outdoorsy. This is the deck that I had alone with me all weekend on my birthday weekend. And by the time the weekend was over, I was madly in love with this deck. I did a couple readings with it. And it's so, the artwork in this deck is stunning. Stunning, actually. Love this deck card. The majors all have a American national park on them, which I love. Our U.S. National Park tower is Castletown Tower. But it's a gorgeous deck, and I love it. It didn't take that long. I mean, literally within hours for me to fall in love with this deck. That's why it's the only deck I've actually taken with me on a... like, me and the deck. Just had our good time together. So number 4 is Soulmates. When it was just meant to be a deck that you fell in love with immediately. And I want to say this is my Light Seers because it is my soul deck. It's the one deck. If all other decks were gone away, that would be my number 1. But I can't because when it came time to buy that deck, because I missed the Kickstarter and the indie version of it, I came into right before it became mass market. I paused in buying it. This deck, the Stretch Tarot by J.E. Stretch. This is actually the one you can get on my playing cards, which is a linen cardstock, which makes it shuffleable. The other one is not. Blue backs. Keywords on the minors. There's extra cards in this specific deck. This specific one. This is my number 4 deck of all time. And it's a workhorse deck for me. I use it for everything. I've used it for mediumship readings, for past life readings. You name it, I've used this deck for it. And every time, it's fantastic. This is that deck that the second I saw it on someone's channel, before I was done watching them use this deck in a mediumship reading, actually it was a past life reading, I had bought the deck. And that's the first time and one of the very few times that has ever happened. So this, in that respect for that specific question, has to be this deck. Yes, it's my number 4 deck ever. I wouldn't call it specific Soulmates, but I knew immediately I had to buy it. And it's almost like J.E. Stretch reached in my brain and was like, this is what she wants for a past life deck. Because that's initially what I bought it for. And now I use it for everything. I love this deck. I have 2 copies of it because I have this Make Playing Cards version and then the one I got straight off his website, which is a different cardstock completely. Which is a thicker cardstock. It doesn't shuffle well, but I still love it to pieces. This is also one of the exceptions to my rules deck. So, that is the Soulmates, the deck that you fell in love with immediately. And that was an immediate, I have to have this immediately for me, for this deck. So number 5, Slow Burn, a deck you didn't have the best first impression of, but the more you worked with it, the more you liked it. And that's going to have to be, it's new to me this year, the Slow Tarot. I was still on the fence about getting this deck for the longest. It's also linen cardstock. It's also an indie deck. There's the backs. Everybody knows this deck. I'm not going to go into the details of it, but I was so wishy-washy for like 3 years because of this card on even buying the deck. I wanted it. I thought it was beautiful. But that double card kept me from buying this. And then I've recently come to terms with why I was upset with that card. That Love the Sun card. It's my new favorite. That and the Chariot, which is my soul card. I love it in this deck. And then I finally bought it. And it just read so beautifully. It was almost like it was mocking me. Like, yeah, you knew you've been missing out this whole time. And I love it. I love it. 2 pieces. So that is the Slow Tarot and my Slow Burn, which is, the irony in that is not lost on me. Okay, so 6, opposites attract. This deck is not your usual style, but you love it anyway. And this is also a more newer deck for me. This is the Modern Love Tarot by Ethany. I'm gonna tell you what. Ugh, this deck. I freaking love it. 2 pieces. It's bigger than normal tarot size. It's gilded. And you can tell I've already used the crap out of it. I have no other deck like this at all in my collection. Nothing compares to this. I wasn't even going to buy this deck. I've known about it for the last however many years it's been out. I was never going to buy this deck. And then a few weeks ago, something just kept nagging at me to buy it. And everywhere I looked, there it was. And I'm like, why? Why? I don't want you. And then I got it. I said, you know what? The curiosity is there. And it is a pretty deck. And then I got it, and it has blown my mind. Blown my mind. I've used it for mediumship readings. I've used it for regular readings. It's blown me out of the water. It's beautiful, and I love it. But it is not anything like my aesthetic at all. But I love it. Despite that. Okay. So, that was number 6. Oh my gosh. Hold on, my stuff's disappeared. Number 6. Number 7, blind date. An impulse buy, a gift or a deck you got without much research but ended up loving it. Wildlands Tarot. I saw a glimpse of it on somebody's channel. I went and immediately bought it. Then I watched a full walkthrough on Simon from the Hermit's Cave. It is meant to be like Polaroids. Stunning. Is the only thing I can tell you about this deck. Stunning. It is so freaking beautiful. I freaking love it. 2 pieces. It's real places in the background. And it's mind-blowing. I've actually done a couple different types of spreads with this. Beautiful. And every time I get it out, I'm like, oh, I need to work with it again. But I've had to literally make myself stop using this deck in order to use other decks that have come into my collection. So, since I got this. So, we're going to put it away. Because I got limited time here and many more decks. So, that was number 7, a blind date. So, yeah, that was like a totally bubblegum purchase at the end of the aisle when I'm checking out at the grocery store kind of purchase. 8, second chance. A deck you plan to get rid of that worked its way back into rotation, or a deck that you moved along and ended up repurchasing. This is kind of a cheat because I have the first edition. I can't stay in the first edition. It actually makes me ill. And then I bought the second edition of the Bonfire Tarot by Gabby Angus West. And OMG. It's smaller. It's matte. It's not the glossy crap of the previous cardstock. It's edged in this matte red. Beautiful. Beautiful backs. I love it. I love it. It's more pocket size, which is so cool. Why are they all turned around? They're all turned around. Anyway, I love this deck. 2 pieces. It's stunning. Oh my God. And they are all turned around, which is driving me crazy. I've used the crap out of this deck, and I couldn't even use the previous one because it's so glossy. They toned down the coloring in this, and I love this card. Somebody that has, what do you call it? Issues with lights and stuff. That I have a seizure disorder. So certain things can trigger that. And the first sign of that is headaches. And I would get headaches with the previous deck trying to use it. And then I would be sick and feeling for a while because of that. And the fact that they toned down the colors in that. I know I've heard people saying they don't like that, but it's enabled me to use this deck and love it as everyone else does. And I love that for that. So that's kind of a cheat because I still have the other one. But, yeah. Number 9. Unrequited love. You really want to love this deck, but it just doesn't love you back. This is the saddest deck ever because it's so beautiful. It is the Orion's Animal Tarot by Ambi Sun. This is a rock pool deck. Every time this kind of question pops up, this is the deck I pull out because I never, ever use it. But I don't. Silver gilded. It has the same exact cardstock as the Marielle 2nd edition. I can't get rid of this deck because it's so stunning. So beautiful. I freaking love it to pieces for that. But I never use it. I never reached for it. And I don't understand why. Because I can't bring myself to use it, but I can't bring myself to get rid of it either. It's so stunning, and I love it to pieces because it's so beautiful. I don't know if you guys have decks like that. Let me know in the comments if you do. And of course, the Chariot, my soul card, winds up on top. Of course it does. So that is the Orion's Animal Tarot by Ambi Sun. I freaking love this deck, despite the fact that I never use it, ever. Last question. Last one is Love Triangle. 2 decks that are in competition with each other in your collection, or a pair of decks you will always use together. Now, everybody knows the Oracle I'm about to show you. It's the one Oracle in this whole thing. Has been out for years. There's even a 2nd edition, which I have that one in my hand. And then the Tarot came out for it this year. This is the ultimate pair in my collection. I have many other decks that go together that were born to go together. But this is the ultimate pairing. This is the Oracle of Echoes 2nd edition and the Tarot of Echoes, both by Anatolian. The Tarot just came out this year. I got it in March. These are the backs. They have a theme. They go together. I would never, ever, ever not pair these 2 together. Now, here's the other thing. I have the Bonestone and Earthflesh Tarot. I paired with this. I have the Tarot of the Abyss. I paired with this. I have the Tarot Arthurian. I paired with this. So any of Anna's work, I'm going to pair with the Oracle of Echoes. But these 2 were meant to go together. It's the Tarot and Oracle of Echoes. They have the same title. They were meant to be together. Despite the fact that the Oracle is kind of a open relationship, the Tarot will never not be used with this Oracle deck. But she's open a relationship in that she only is used with Anatolian's work. So, in that respect, they're both used for the same thing. And this card haunts me. It's the first card I ever pulled in the 1st edition. And I'm always forever pulling it because I don't let go easily of anything. But yes, this is the ultimate pair in my eyes. This deck has been waiting for its companion for a very long time. And here they are, finally together. And I love it. 2 pieces. 2 pieces. So that is the Tarot and Oracle deck that I paired together. The Love Triangle, the 2 decks that will forever be bonded together and paired together forever. Despite the fact that I use the Oracle with all the other Tarot decks that Anatolian has done art on. Anyway, that's all I got. If you guys have any questions, comments, concerns, don't hesitate to comment below. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. If you want to see more, please subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification button so you're alerted to any future videos. And y'all have a good night.